Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests here. It has been a privilege and honor to be participating in this prestigious BFSI Brands Award of ET Age and Times Group. I must say that I am feeling dwarfed and intimidated in the presence of such an esteemed gathering of who is who in the BFSI sector in India nowadays. I am an engineer by education, civil servant by profession, and at best a novice in the financial area. But I really thank ET Now and Times Group to invite me for this prestigious function here. Since I have worked in government sector all along and not in private sector, I can enumerate the things what the government is doing, what the government wants, what the government desires from the BFSI sector, the government policies, and all these things. I can tell you that the relation between government and BFSI sector is a very symbiotic relation. I would like to say one shairi about this. मुख्तसर सी जिंदगी के अजीब से अफसाने हैं, मुख्तसर सी जिंदगी के अजीब से अफसाने हैं, यहाँ तीर भी चलाने हैं और परिंदे भी बचाने हैं. If I can correlate with this BFSI sector, then you have to give the loans also, extend credit also, and manage the NPAs also, both simultaneously. But let me tell you that the government policies over the last 10 years have become very friendly towards BFSI sector in the overall visionary minds of the government for nation building. There are so many policies recently, particularly in the last 10 years, like open banking framework, elaborating or extending FDI in BFSI sector, particularly insurance sector, strategic mergers of public sector units, public sector banks, particularly. I was just going through the flow of event and I noticed what appealed me three things where the esteemed panels are going to discuss, like digital transformation, then financial inclusion, and customer-centric approach. We all know that India has become a world leader in the field of digital transformation. Particularly, the BFSI sector is the flag bearer in this mission of digital transformation in India. Due to the proactive and innovative approach of BFSI sector, India has become truly a Vishwaguru in this field. So many fast, innovative approaches, innovative things are happening in this. We don't know, like in the evening we are thinking of something else, that okay, that this thing should be done, and in the morning we see in the papers that the things have already been done. So someone else has thought about that and someone else has implemented this. Say for example the UPI. UPI, we all know that a truly unique thing about the Indian BFSI. In fact, it has made the financial transactions so simple that even an illiterate person is able to do the financial transactions without the help of debit card, credit card, without the help of e-banking or internet banking. Even a sabji vendor or tea shop, everyone has this UPI payment system. In fact, when you go to temples nowadays, there is UPI. You can donate through UPI instantly there. And the joke is doing the corner that now even beggars beg through UPI. They all have these things. In fact, this digital transformation through UPI is being replicated all over the world. It is unique to India and people say are in awe of this thing. Nepal has been recently onboarded in the UPI. Singapore may be the next. In fact, Europe is going all over along the UPI and connected to India. Coming close on this UPI thing, one big thing that has happened in the government and where BFSI sector has helped a lot through digital transformation is DBT. We all know the full form of DBT, but the recent acronym of DBT is Delhi Se Beneficiary Tak. Like earlier in the 1980s, you must be hearing or must have read about that when one prime minister, former prime minister has himself said that when 1 rupee is being transferred from the central government to the beneficiaries, only 15 paise reach there. So only 15% of the fund actually meant for the beneficiary reaches in the hands of the beneficiary, or rather reached in the hands of the beneficiary at that time. But now, around 40 years down the line, we are seeing through DBT, direct beneficiary transfer, that the whole 100% through cashless transactions is reaching in the hands of the beneficiary. To the actual grassroots level, to the actual beneficiary working in villages, remotest part of the India. This has transformed the lives of the poor, downtrodden, the marginalized sections all over India. This has been a game changer, not only reducing the corruption, black money, or the empowerment of the weaker and marginalized section, and to bring them in the mainstream of the financial happenings in India. And all these things are translating into, say, the consumption, savings, and in turn, benefiting the BFSI sector only. Because when earlier the cash transactions were being done, so banks were not involved, but now it is going into the accounts itself. What in turn means that CASA is improving for the banks. People have money in their hands. So at one hand, consumption is increasing, but on the other hand, savings is also increasing. And people all over India are not only investing in the FDs or savings, but the recent happenings suggest that the interior India is participating big into the other channels, like say stock market or mutual funds or insurance also. So this is, earlier that was a vicious circle, but now it has become a virtuous circle. For everybody it is a win-win situation. All these things cannot be done without the active participation of the BFSI sector in India. And the whole BFSI sector deserves a big round of applause for all these transformations. But coming on the close heels of this, there was second topic which appealed to me and which the anchor was also referring to, financial inclusion. Financial inclusion is a dream for the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, and a mission for him. Through Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, over 30 crores bank accounts have been opened. And in fact, as the data of January 2024 suggests, that 28 crores accounts have been opened by the women itself. From 2014 till now, it has been a big change. That means that the gender gap is also reducing through all these proactive measures in the transformation of BFSI sector. But I would like to highlight one more thing in this. At the grassroots level, financial inclusion is happening, no doubt about that. There are government schemes like say Stand Up India scheme for weaker and marginalized section, extending credit to them, Mudra loan schemes for MSME sector, or like recently launched PM Surya Ghar scheme. That is going to be a big change, not only for the lives of the poor household, but also for banking and financial institutions also, because 60% of the installation cost is being given by the government through subsidy, but 40% the beneficiary has to manage. And where this 40% will come, banking and financial institutions can devise, say, something like green loan, because not everyone is going to be in a position to spend that 40%. So green credit, you can say. Then the investing in the capital infrastructure, like solar panels, or what right now the big change in capex is going on in India infrastructure sector, where BFSI sector is supposed to extend the credit and in turn benefiting the sector also as well as themselves also. But what I would like to highlight here, that at grassroots level, if we want everyone to be financially included, then banking sector has to take the lead. Like there is one SHG scheme, self-help group. Self-help groups are at the village level or panchayat level. Those are the groups of the weaker women in the village household. It is a big dream of the government to make the rural women through so many schemes like NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Mission, or SHG, to make them empowered, to make them self-sufficient. Here, there are branches of banks in the rural localities. Somehow, I have felt that when banks are going to extend credit to big industrial houses, big business houses, they are very liberal. But when it comes to the poor people, rural people, then the things become changed. There is one notion going on that if you owe rupees 100 to a bank, it's your problem. But if you owe rupees 100 crores, then it is the bank's problem. Similar things are going on at the grassroots level. When we talk of NPAs have reduced, no doubt about that. Right now, as per the data of September 2023, the gross NPA, GNPA is around 5.71 lakh crores in India. And it has come down from around 9.33 lakh crore in 2018. Right now, it is 3.2%. It is a big change. But is it really so? Because what this reduction in NPA comprises of, large portion of that is in write-offs. We all know, there is no need to elaborate, but like ABG Shipyard scam, 23,000 crores. Mehul Choksky scam, 14,000 crores. Kingfisher, 8,000 crores. Just the other day before yesterday, I was reading in Economic Times itself. There is a Bansi Management Mall here in Mumbai. And it is in the process of, say, liquidation. Runwal Group has extended 475 crores for taking over that. And Kishore Biyani has just put a counter bid of 476 crores. And we all know that what Future Group has done. The banks have lost over 33,000 crores for Future Group. So people don't pay the credit already extended to them. There are haircuts, there are losses, there are write-offs, and then the next they come up with over 500 crore to take over something. When compared to that, you go to, say, grassroots level, like SHGs. There is CCL, cash credit linkage accounts. It requires only 1 lakh of rupees. At a higher level, when there is a cluster, then it is, say, Community Investment Fund, CIF, and that is, I think, of 15 lakh rupees. These are peanuts. But still, banks at grassroots level are hesitating to extend that microcredit. Not only banks, but NBFCs or microfinance companies also. Because many a times, these rural women are illiterate. They do not understand about the loan processes. If the bank can be, say, a mentoring, guiding force to them, then it can change, it can bring about a sea change in the grassroots level, in turn benefiting each and every one. Give some time to those groups. Like I would like to say again, one share about that. वक्त वक्त की बात है, वक्त वक्त की बात है, अगर कोई वक्त पे वक्त देने वाला मिल जाए तो वक्त बदलते देर नहीं लगती. Because you are all at higher positions, you are in the policy making thing. Like what I was going through just now, that Mr. A.B. Balasubramaniam of A.B. Capital, AMC, or Mr. Rajiv Ranjan Prasad of SBI Digital Transformation, Ms. R. Vishakha from insurance company, all are who are there here. They are all in policy making field, but can all of you say guide the lower level of your branches, banks, or mentor them, or do the capacity building for them to be a little sensitive towards the needs and aspirations of the lower level of population in remote India, in the countryside India? Ultimately, it is going to benefit not only the government, not only them, but all of you, all of us together. Your 1 minute or 5 minutes of time can change their lives there. When, as I talked about that NPS, still, as per the latest data, the big loans comprise more than 54% of the total loan in India, over 5 crores loan. And these are peanuts compared to these big loans. One thing, what I was going, that is customer-centric approach. We all are customers. We are all citizens. Even you, even I, everyone sitting here, in some form of another, we all are customers. When we talk in the government, we talk about citizen-centric approach. And for the BFSI sector, it is customer-centric approach. We all know that customer is king. But is it really so? Even I have felt many a times, like when calling to any bank or any insurance company or anything, like एक दबाएं, इसके लिए 2 दबाएं, इसके लिए 3 दबाएं, 5 आते आते लगता है कि अपना गला दबा लें. So, but that was on a lighter note. There is a need to change the mindset. In the government also, we are trying sincerely for citizen-centric approach. But BFSI sector must try to think about customer-centric approach seriously. When it's coming to extending loan, like say home loan, banks promote home loans, in spite that most of the branches are on rented premises. They do not make homes for them, but they promote in a big way home loans. It is a slight dichotomy. Okay, the anchor is telling me that time is running short, so I would not like to take much of your time now. Just I want to say one thing, that together we can do it. Together we must try for the nation building. BFSI sector has a big role to play in this, and we are looking forward for a great correlation between government and BFSI sector. All the best. Thank you very much.